This is the panel titled The Artist, and thank you so much for coming. We're going to be running a few minutes late, so we're starting a little bit late, and we'll probably end closer to, I don't know, 6:45 or so. Is that about right? Okay, so Prince's life and work raise some of the most important questions when it comes to what art is. For example, how does popular music relate to photography and video or other media? Or to what extent can a life be imagined as an artistic project more broadly? Given the importance of Prince as a multimedia artist, it behooves us to think about what the content of his art is. Of course, at the core of this is his musical creations and contributions and collaborations. This includes his songwriting, his recordings, his live performances on multiple instruments, including guitars and keyboards, his production work, his work with many artists, including some of the artists who are here today. But as we've seen, Prince is also much more than that too. His art includes his self-naming and renaming, his fashion sense, his appearance in photographs and film images, his films, his battles with the music industry, his interviews and communications in the press, his public appearances and entourages, his homes, properties, and spaces of work, maybe even his political activism. And maybe all these things were, in part, a kind of broader sense of what his artistic project was. So how do we understand the particulars of that art? And can we get specific about notes and melodies and words and chords, synthesizer programming, guitar playing, colors, artistic narratives, dance steps, color coordination, and more? If, as Zahir Ali reminded us very helpfully in his helpful primer on the Minneapolis sound, if we hear the Linn drum machine processed with flangers and echo delay units, with consistent, almost structuring minimalist backbeats shaping sparse, mid and treble dominated textures, all operating with funk-based musical groove construction so as to create an influential stream of 1980s digital dance pop, then maybe we can start to think about the particularity of what that style is in specific songs, specific expressions and performances. Of course, that's one small part of the history. There are surely many Minneapolis sounds rather than a single one. Now, as previous speakers have noted, Prince's art is resolutely an art form realized through and under and then against corporate conglomerates and oligopoly capitalism following the long economic downturn of the 1970s and after. And it also spanned a period of immense socio-political and socio-cultural change after the liberation movements of the long 1960s. The ramifications of these made themselves felt asymmetrically across the landscapes of US American and global popular cultures. Numerous further questions arise against these contextual backdrops. What is it like to be an artist under intense corporate pressures and to negotiate such complex issues such as copyright? How do you respond to today's and historically recent technological changes? How have black musicians succeeded in overcoming the industry's racial barriers? Why is the music industry dominated by men? Why did Prince insist his collaborators move to Minnesota? How do they relate to this state? This panel gathers academics and artists to both celebrate Prince's genius and to ask some tough questions about the artistic process.